Okay, everybody, let's get started for Thursday. Thanks again. Kick it off with crypto and get into larger discussion about what's going on with the markets, especially about yesterday. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Again, welcome. This is the Harmonic Pattern Podcast. We're here Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, about 11:30, 11:45. You guys just subscribe. You'll get the notification, depending on how my day's going. But a lot to get into, and I want to look at XRP first. And this has been pretty much the biggest weekly pattern of anything we've seen, which is representative of crypto in general. Bitcoin trying to do some things, but we've seen that try to do things more than once. Just in the last week, it's made a few runs at 41, 42, but we're going to see the larger progress and stuff like this. And I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better here. So XRP is a model that as we go through the secondary completion, the type 2 completion, it can drag, or it can seemingly drag, but as opposed to, maybe other past examples where a lot of the characteristics make it easier to realize it in the past. Obviously, past examples are the easy way to look at harmonic patterns, and it's one of the drawdowns that I feel actually takes away from it when people who try to sell you a harmonic pattern course or a software, they're only showing you something that happened last year or last 3 months ago. Let's talk about now. So that's where I have my focus on XRP, Luna, a couple of the other ones, obviously Bitcoin, not so much. Ethereum, not so much, because again, I still say that the future crypto environment is going, and appreciation is going to be in things like this that can, on a pure market cap basis, go from 10 to 100 billion or 100 to 500 billion. Bitcoin could go from 800 billion, whatever it is now, and double, but that's going to take a lot of capital to move that. I think the play is still in the alts that are moving, trending, big patterns like this. And absolutely a big shout out for Happy St. Patrick's Day. I would literally disrespect my own heritage if I didn't say that. So, Happy St. Patrick's Day to all. It's open holiday season for everyone to celebrate, feel good about each other, life, and stay positive, stay harmonically positive. So let's get into some green with some crypto. And let's look for this breakout move in XRP if it's going to do it. The big thing about the last 48 hours since Tuesday that we've seen has been some progress. Lackluster this past week, 2 weeks, but a lot of the scenarios, a lot of the downtrends are trying to break out or about to break out of some kind of established consolidation zone, with forming a series of, we're getting squeezed. I said this last time. Some intermediate short-term lower highs with this long-term downtrending angle of and wedge of downtrending lower highs and slightly higher lows. So I'm looking for this event likely to break up. I'm still of the opinion there's going to be plenty of time. And again, I feel like most of crypto is a situation about time, not so much price. Because if we break out, or when we break out, let's start talking a little more progressively in that sense, because we'll get through this. We need to bust through this consolidation zone, and it'll give us a few triggers, structural triggers, that once they pop out of here with the pattern behind it, some of the other metrics, XRP has weekly oversold signals, the daily actually even better with a couple of smaller patterns down here. The daily's probably better because we're going to see this breakout. We're looking for like a 3-bar breakout, folks. Really want to see some kind of strong move once we crack these constraints. Let's go over to Bitcoin. Popped above 40 again. I not so much an event for me. I'm not, again, we're just squeezed. I'm still concerned about the lower highs. I said this yet on Tuesday. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that a lower high right there? We don't want to see this. This rolls over here on Bitcoin. Again, walking the plank, if you will. Luckily, there's you have one or two things that are somewhat in your favor, where this HSI signal off the low has been able to break out above the 50 level. That could bring you some support, some upside continuation. Amplified RSI doing the same thing, but needs to get above this 50 level. This is how we treat all RSI indicators. Whether it's your standard Wells Wilder RSI 14 period, or 13 period, excuse me, or our amplified, we look for it that way. Break above the 50 level, let the indicator trend and show you the progress first, and then the price breaks out, you know you've got something behind it. Snipes has a great comment. What's going on, Snipes? Absolutely. Lower highs, yeah, it's still not there. If this was going to be huge, again, we'd see a massive candle. We'd see a candle. We'd see a couple candles. We'd see a candle like we had last week. That's why this breakout is still potentially a fake out. That was such a great candle in a perfect position, two higher lows and no follow through. In fact, HSI, that red arrow on HSI for the fake out, I guess, at 44.8, 44.5 is still in play. And Bitcoin will not do anything major until we get out of the consolidation zone. Essentially a strong pop above 45.5 with continuation. And we're not there yet. So I'm okay with Bitcoin here. Again, I still say your focus is on the bigger altcoins that are doing things. Here's Luna, folks. It's getting rejected off of this all-time retest. That's a concern. Still early in that phase. I was looking for the run to all-time highs. Double top. Now, we did know we had a 4-hour crab up here. And look at the arrows we've drawn out. That was our reaction. We talked about the return, which we got off of target 1 from 75 back to above the hop level with confirmation. Everything has been ping-ponging here with Luna. What's the play? Well, we do have this kind of pause here up at the zone. By definition, we're in a type 2 reversal off of the bearish 4-hour crab. By definition. So that target 2, I'm not calling for this because it's been quite strong. I'm going to go to the weekly in a second, but we need to be aware of the fact that target 2 at 63.23 for Luna is the framework. That's how we look at it. We've been on top of Luna from way back at 50. Didn't expect a huge move like this, but we did get the retest to all-time highs. Now we're right smack in the face of a 4-hour type 2 deep crab pattern that's reacting, taking its time, but tell me what it's doing. Where's that measurement bar? Here. So the way to look at it, and an easy way, is to grab the ruler here on the left side for the trading view. That's a standard tool. And there is the type 2, that red arrow. Let me bring it back into focus. And you can do this with any market, any pattern, any time frame. It's a great way to have some kind of standardization of understanding what is really going to come off of this secondary retest. So there's the arrow, red arrow for the retest, and then you come back and you check back on that. So that's really market from there. That bar, you could mark it from the HSI, but I think everyone knows what I'm going to say. Tell me what's happening 30 bars later. Pretty much grinding lower. We've clearly reversed. We're stalling out and then starting to roll over. Type 2 reversals, they're going to take more time. So the fact that we're already here at 30 bars, you're probably 40 bars now, it's still doing the right things for that fuller, larger reversal. Eyes on that. Now, it's a 4-hour chart. We'll come back here on Monday and, let's see where we are, but I'm still against that larger pattern unless you can really make progress, 92, 95, 97, and stop going down, this is one to watch. It has been one to watch the whole time. And it's, it's the only one that did a big move so far in March, that I probably one of the largest. One or two more. Take a look at where is it? Where's LRC? Here's LRC. Now another one on the daily time frame. There's a bunch of these that are back, deeply retesting these zones. LRC, huge spike up. Oh, I change that. But now we're dealing with this bat pattern. You do have confirmation. I said this on Tuesday. It's still in a type 1. And a kind of a dud so far, but I'll keep my eye on this. Can this thing stabilize and maybe over the course of the next 5 days, week, do some basing formation where you're trading 71 cents right now? Your XA level is 77 cents. Confirmation is about 72 cents. So if I'm somewhere in the 70-cent area, I'm at a fairly low risk. But I want to see this thing do something off the, even this short-term downtrend. You're trying to get to the right of that. Maybe a reaction. And that's one, there's several of these. So keep an eye on that. I think that's, you could see it. You have, you certainly have a few other ones that have been running. Here's KNC. I'm not saying chase this. I'm just saying, in the face of everything, this KNC has done some moves. So it's not a complete loss here. And if anything, you could be on the verge of getting some more of these altcoins to open up. Where's Monero? Monero, Zcash, they seem to be wanting to do things here. Here's Monero. Daily, and that's on a Binance feed, so that's a reliable level, 150. Keep an eye on that. You're trading 186. Now, I think I showed this last time. I want to show it again in case we get the next trigger. And I think a lot of these will likely give us one more HSI trigger over the weekend, into next week, and then go. There's terminal bar right there for Monero. Made one shot to 203, which was target 1. Didn't get there, but came all the way back down. And that's okay. I mean, now you're at target 1, and you did get rejected. We talked about that. If we come back, you're 186 right now, but on the daily, you're in that return phase. It could happen pretty quickly. You retest 150. So let's line them up. That's really what I'm been thinking lately. A lot of garbage to kind of focus on these days, but I think let's be patient. Let's line up the opportunities. XRP is probably is a great example of everything you want there on the long-term basis is just taking time before it sets up. Of course, Ethereum, I'm not so crazy on it, but I do have to agree that, look at, say, the Coinbase feed. Harmonic pattern collection is generating a crab formation. And I do want to go over this, why it's doing that. Let's look at this. Let's clean up the chart. Really easy to dismiss a pattern like this because you can easily say, why wouldn't we be grabbing and measuring from that prior low and then your 1618? I have to kind of highlight that the algorithms are designed to find the XAB points that line up. So this is a definable, it's kind of like a micro pivot point, secondary pivot point, but it lines up with the B point, and you do get that 1618 extension that has some of the other metrics that are built in. So you notice that off the top we can draw a W formation or an M formation because it's bullish like this. X to A. B point lines up with that 618 perfectly. C lower than A, and then that sets your general M formation where you do have not only this BC move, but the other dynamic that's built in. I don't think people understand enough that there is an ABCD metric that we calculate. So if we look at it like this, that first thrust down on Ethereum, 4,800 or so, down to that relative 618, it's almost 1,000 points, and then the alternate 1618 minimum lines up with this formation. So then your 1618 of that is much lower, probably 2,900 or so. But that's built in. So there's three calculations that are built into that zone, even though it just shows the XA level. And I don't think, I think that's, again, a small kind of detail. There's so many details to this thing that I need to continue to highlight this stuff so folks understand really what's behind the levels, and that's a valid pattern for Ethereum. The other important consideration is just check out what happened after we hit target 1. An exact rejection at 3281, then followed by an exact retest of XA at 2449. By definition, we're already into that type 2 reversal of now looking for target 2 based off of this pattern. And that would put you to 3887. And I notice how I'm saying the exact numbers. I'm not rounding anymore. I've missed too many rounding 5, 10, 20 bucks. 3887 is your target 2. So I'm would still be okay with the whole scenario going from this 2449 retest of the XA leg, and then tell me what's going on indicators to get some kind of move 32 to target 1 or target 2. That's the zone. We're going to get some kind of bounce off of Ethereum, which, hey, it looks better. HSI is breaking to the upside. You're above your 50 line. Much better. And your last reading was a bullish HSI. So we know this likes to go extreme to extreme. From there to there. Now go back. Hit it. Oversold to overbought. And that would be the next test. Amplified RSI is there too. Let's see. You need a bar. You need 2 bars. Give me a 3-bar breakout. You do have it yesterday, but now, today, you have to continue. Check out the 3-bar breakout on the daily for Ethereum. And you did have it last week, and it failed. Part of the concern. Last week, that candle broke out and closed above the 1, 2, 3, even 4-bar range, but 3-bar range. Yesterday, you closed above the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-bar range. You need a close by tonight above 28.40. I really want to see this thing even get a little bit above that 28.50 level to then challenge 3,000 by the end of the week. There's a quick question that Ethereum is more than 30 bars in the type 2. That's still okay. That's okay. Uh, Maybe you're close to the 30 bars, but here is the absolute qualification, kind of the minimum retest at 24.49, which it did back on the 24th. So today's the 17th, coming up on another 21st cycle low. Most likely, seems like the 21st has been another important date, monthly and then seasonally, of course. I don't want to get too much into that, but you know, go from measuring off of that. That's the official test. Go to the right. 30 bars puts you on the 24th. Today being the 17th, we better see a week of fireworks. And we'll know. We'll know really soon whether or not this is going to really do it or not. I would say in the next 24 hours. So that's a great way to frame it. Now you have some kind of idea of a time interval where, let's say you're long Ethereum. Let's say you are long Ethereum off of that last retest. And you want to know if this is more than just a bump reaction or you're going to get a full reversal. Talk to me in 48 hours. Because you're at a spot where you are attempting a breakout, and that breakout, once you get going, should be serial. Meaning, don't take out that prior low. Don't take out this prior low. And stair step it up over the next 3 days. This should make progress. Now you're going to hit this downtrend, and this is the today, tomorrow, true make or break. 2800, 2850. I would love to see a big candle up today or tomorrow. I think this is something that people need to kind of focus on more with where you are within the pattern framework. The software is going to find the levels, and we continue to add more features, functionality, a lot of things that where even the type 1, type 2 recognition, I think once I've finished that, you guys are going to love it. Because I'm describing this kind of a thing where I highlight it and say, yes, the type 1 whole scenario is within this framework. From terminal bar to the right, plus 30 bars, tell me what happens. Do you hit your objective at target 1? Do you run into any obstacles that are counter to your pattern? And we always know that the first test is reactionary, so we're managing aggressively, trendline breakdown, blah, blah, blah. Will pull us out of that reaction trade, and then the bigger move reversal is down here. But the 30 bar count resets, and we treat it independently where once you hit that retest, think of it that way. Go to the 30, go to the right. And so you have to stay in that trade until really the 27th. So let's look, crypto is in a great spot. Here's one I mentioned last stream, and then people, let's go to Zcash there. All right, on the daily, Zcash has already made nice progress, but it's hitting a 1618. This is a blue. Here we have an example of a pending pattern. I know a lot of people, we've had problems with showing pending patterns on the last version. Now we have that improved script that's showing more pending structures like this. Just trace it out, and you know it's a deep crab. with confirmation. So your confirmation on that HSI is at 156. Your 1618 is basically 162, 165. Where is it? Hello, get up there. 165, 166. So what will we think? Type 1 reaction. Then come back for the type 2. A whole lot of things. Continue to repeat like that. And the most critical part is understanding that this reaction is a part of the structure. You know, you go X to A, and then bang, look at that first move. You know, your 382 is right where? Get back here. It's like there. It almost hit. It was almost perfect to 135. But still followed reaction reversal. We're right back there now on a reversal strategy. What's it going to do? Watch Zcash. If it rolls over, you're going through a pause. And then once that pause ends, we'll deal with larger consequences. Okay, Nasdaq is, let's jump over there, off 68. Take a second and again flash some information. Risk disclaimer. This is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes. Hope you find educational. And again, everyone, please become a Harmonic Trader Basic member. And the thing that I'm focusing on, many people are taking me up on it, is get not only with the TradingView platform, HPC Lite, with our new combo algos for PineScript 5, which has been better, much better, I think. A lot of people are very happy with this new version. And so get your free trial, or take another free trial if you want. Send your TradingView username to that email address. And then the other thing is to take advantage of the pro trials, something like MetaTrader or eSignal, and run both of them. I think it's the complete complement. You're running multiple screens, 2 screens minimum. I think everyone should run 2 screens, more like 3 screens. But that's what you should be working on, and try it if you haven't. I think the MetaTrader eSignal is the Cadillac by far, as they say. NinjaTrader, Sierra Chart, those are they've got great data options as well. Also, read a book. Get with one of the books or all the books here, and just simply download them. Most people ask me which book to start with. I say volume 3 because it has the refresher of everything, and it runs through the whole sequence completely. There's a identification, execution, and management section for volume 3. So again, if you're not with that material, please, and don't subscribe. Don't subscribe until you've taken advantage of these free trials. And then for gold members and the additional content we're rolling out now, if you're ready, get with the gold members and check out, oh, I got to log in again. Check out all of that advanced material, webinars, and then the new content that we're uploading. It's taking forever. I think you guys are crashing it. Okay, business done. Let's shout out to the chat and everybody in the chat. Appreciate it. A couple questions, so let's scroll it back. And while I do that, I'm going to load up my eSignal platform as well. And just, there you go. Let's bring that back up. Oh, the last one that I wanted to mention was YFI. And I think this is another one we mentioned on Tuesday. Beautiful back-to-back bat scenarios, but the last bat, not so much. The bullish bat pattern did this kind of dud reaction I talked about, came all the way back, flirting with the hop level, and the confirmation not so great. But if we aren't, if we, this is more of a situation where if we manage to pop above this 50 and on the amplified over the next couple of days, that could trigger a type 1 reaction to 27.8 HSI. Okay, really quick, I do need to say one other thing about HSI. There's been some issues with the data and getting standardization on TradingView and some of the e-signal recently. We are working on a major HSI standardized update that's going to fix the inconsistencies and try to improve this kind of thing where we have a failure in the display of the indicator. That's for TradingView, it's a PineScript problem, but I think we can fix it. And one workaround is to go to a different time interval. So if you're daily or you want to see a daily reading, go to say an 8-hour or 12-hour. Look at a 12-hour, something like that. Here's the 4-hour on YFI, and just kind of languishing in this zone. The XA number is 17,985. I was talking about the general 20,000 retest because that's the weekly 886. Like here. There you go. Come all the way back here. Doesn't look great. I'm not saying that this is anything spectacular on the long-term chart, other than we're down in an area of a massive 886 full reset. I don't want to get too much into the dumps about this terrible price action. I more want to line up potential opportunities, knowing they're not all going to work out, but let's get some triggers. We might get something down here in these dumps that then maybe, if it takes time, so be it. But maybe we could get out of here. Maybe this 20,000 on YFI or just under 20,000 could be a screaming opportunity in 3 months. But we might have to do some work down here. That's my thought. Keep an eye on it. Crypto's interesting. Again, it's more about time than price. There was one other one. I'll come back to that. Yeah, let me come back to that one. Cardano, another ugly duckling. What's it going to do? Remember, we do have this crazy hop level. This is where ugly harmonic patterns, I don't want to dismiss it. But I've been talking about 72.37 as the last ditch level. The XA of the 886, that did a little pause. Really a harmonic dud. We were worried about this when there was no follow through above 150 way back in January, and then failed. This is still in a massive downtrend, despite what Charles wants to think or believe. But from a harmonic perspective, if we can get to the right of this downtrend line in a few weeks or by the end of the month and do some work to get out of here, yeah, maybe there is something here. I don't want to take my eye off of stuff like this. It's a verifiable pattern. It's an ugly structure, but this has all been kind of completely dumped. It is certainly, hey, we're certainly in a massive correction. Cardano's lost 3/4. So let's just try to be contrarian a little bit. That's the message. Now, the one thing I wanted to show everybody, let's go over to total crypto, but a little bit of a just kind of reference point. Total crypto market cap has this beautiful crab pattern, much like we saw on, I think it was Ethereum, generating off of this secondary low from October. It's not the greatest. I would love it if it was off of something a lot more distinct, but we are responding to the 1618 level. 1.7, 1.72 trillion is that, a kind of invisible harmonic level. I am respecting this action. Some stabilization here, but as I said on Tuesday, I'm need to see a violation of a prior high. And from the harmonic perspective, minimum reaction to target 2 at 2.09 trillion is your only consideration. You need to see that. You need to see this hit that now. I mean, break out now to do a run up to retest something. So yesterday and today, really by tonight, we don't continue this candle from yesterday. I would not be surprised to see this just roll right over. We are squeezed. So it could take time. We've been here before. Do want to show. Let's look at a historical example. It's a little past precedent. This bat pattern. Go back to 2019. This seems to be a good example of what we might see, where just a real nasty, not the greatest of symmetry on this pattern after the 2017 run, but by definition, and more important, the algos all lined up with the proper structure to say that satisfies a bat requirement. And that was all the way at 128 billion. But we did get a confirmation. Notice this, the XA point, that X point up to A. That grabs off of not really a clear-cut extreme low point, but for what I call true harmonic level, true harmonic alignment, it works. And that's what I want to focus on for the current situation. You have the alignment of ratios. You are responding, even if it's in a nominal way. You need to get to the right of the downtrend line, which you did. But think of this again as a weekly basis where you hit the top end of the zone and you still spent 3, 4, 5 months going sideways before you made progress. Look at the zone breakout. And this would be the ideal kind of price action event I want to see. Again, we're looking at the 2019 potential reversal zone of that bat pattern on total crypto market cap. And we'll count the bars. Let's count the bars first. Here's terminal bar. Go to the right, 30 bars. 30 bars is right there. That's 30 weeks. Now, you completed the pattern and you went 10 weeks before you even started to move or do an individual bar breakout. Here you are. Let me see. Let's try this again. So there's terminal bar. And the breakout bar was 17 weeks later. Maybe that's what we're doing right now. And maybe the thing that you need to see, though, is even small consolidating action that is individually exhibits some kind of change in trend. Higher highs, higher lows, even as nominal as that is. A consecutive 7, 8 weeks of that kind of action out of a zone can lead to a massive bar breakout, which is what you want to see. A lot going on there. Again, takeaway, this is all about time, not price. And I don't, I've thought about the whole nightmare crypto scenario for Bitcoin. What's the nightmare scenario for crypto? What's the worst case? I don't know if it's, we look at all of what we've seen over the past decade, really, but 5 years of how this stuff comes together. And a lot of the, as I'm saying, a lot of the intermediate patterns where, okay, you're developing patterns not off of the extreme high or low. Well, then that tells you something. You can have a substantial pullback, create the cycle low without needing to do an all-time 886, although as I like to call it, and I guess it's really catching on, of the full reset idea that you do a big cycle and then you come all the way back to the all-time 886 in terms of what you had on that last cycle for crypto, total crypto market cap. You either hit it exactly on the lows in 2019 or came relatively close. For our perspective and what we want to look for, which is more than just a single measurement, give us a complex pattern, give us an M-shaped formation, and then we go. I think this is XRP, quite frankly. I think this is this pattern right here is XRP after it completed the type 2. And remember, this hit the XA exactly, and then maybe if we're XRP, maybe we're in here, taking weeks to get out of the low, taking months. There's a lot here. I mean, really, the thing with patterns, maybe one of the most frustrating part of the patterns is being patient as it works itself out. Is not an easy thing. That's why we have to go bar by bar, trigger by trigger, monitor indicators to really have an understanding of what's the progress out of the zone. Structurally, once it happens, you do the retest, especially if you do the initial test. Whatever happens to the right of that test, whatever happens to the right of this pattern completion is critical. The first test there, you have way back at that low, as ugly as that was, you do have confirmation variables, HSI amplified. Green line stops right here. Green line stops on amplified RSI, right where terminal bar is on the weekly. You start looking to the right for that reversal or reaction. And you had that again. Reaction, come back, retest. You're seeing things happen at the levels. If you don't get the test, if you don't get an extreme reading, extreme reversal, completed RSI BAM, HSI at the levels, you have to wait for that to happen. If it doesn't happen in tandem, you let it go. A lot there. But getting back to BTC, worst case scenario, I really feel it's, let's just call it. And I'll be okay with this if it happens. Again, because I don't think it's going to take much time. The retest itself, the recovery might take some time, but if you're concerned, it's always good to know what's the worst way out. Know all your possibilities. And that'll make decisions easier because you know what you got to deal with. Worst case scenario is this 1618 retest with the hop getting hit. Now, I'm not there yet. And that official BTC futures chart, that 1618 is at 31,600. And I think however this gets resolved, this crazy wedge, I mean, that's a bear flag, quite frankly. Arguable. I mean, some people they could say, no, it's a bullish pennant. No, and we roll over. Again, I'm not, this is going to be a critical weekend. Finally, Fed comes out, makes a fluff point, a quarter point, nominal quarter point, but we got to stick to what's happening in the framework. Can you break out of this pennant and do something? Or are you going to go back, finally hit the hop, and resolve the whole thing? Resolution of the whole harmonic scenario is at that 22,000 crab retest, 22,542. That's the worst case scenario. And then you would anticipate cycle to renew with go back, retest the bearish pattern at 68.3. That's how the long-term daily framework with these patterns, how I would consider it. Weekly time frame, it's a little bit better position actually. So I'm trying to compare the two time frames. I think the daily is the one to focus on because you're going to see that individual breakout. Here's the thing with this week's close. We do have, for the first time, a higher RSI low, amplified, by the way. And this is where amplified is critical because it's hypersensitive. You're not going to see this on standard RSI. But there's the oversold initial test. There's your secondary reading. All right, trying to establish some kind of uptrend. We need to see this thing break above the 50 level. And I'm talking, see if I can get it. Yeah. This weekend. Want to see that continue higher out of the low, break out above the 50, get into, get all the way above 50 and actually start to retest. Red line is on, which means on the weekly basis, check out the complex structure. This is the complex structure at the high. It relates to there. We came all the way back down to the 50 at a minimum, but this time we go to oversold. The return feature is still in play. I would still say that this red line up here, all right, that overbought reading has to be retested to satisfy the prior complex structure. Critical. So if we break out down here and can finally do something, then maybe that's the start of this return. Not there yet, but just trying to put pieces together. Again, it's more about time than price, even in the worst case scenario that I just put out. Okay. What's going on? I want to quick shout out back to everybody in the chat. Again, I'm going to go about another 15 minutes. I want to get into the major markets, but a few more questions, a few more comments. Absolutely. I appreciate it. Everybody showing up. And then all the people that are watching at night. I know this is a bad time. A lot of people have to work. Some things that I'm going to be rolling out in the next few weeks for those kind of part-time traders. I think are really important things that I want to share with people. Tax consequences, how to minimize tax consequences. I want to flex a little bit of my accounting degree. It's not financial advice, but some things to consider, like, and we'll do that in the future, of maybe doing trading first and foremost through your IRA, even if it's crypto. Yeah, that's my lesson. So, quick shout out, Legacy Harmonics, Riley, what's going on? Riley did a great video, everyone, on the bat pattern. Check it out. It's on my Twitter feed. I really liked it. And other people, if you do harmonic pattern collection videos, hit me up. Send them to me. I will definitely retweet them, post them. I think people are doing a lot of great work with the software, and some of the new stuff that we have coming, you guys are going to like. James, hey James. Luna might go through the type 2. It's very strong. Let's see. Luna, as we talked about, stalling at the daily all time. I think it might have to come back. Hey Kev 3, LRC Gartley. Yeah, I'm starting to look at LRC and some of those Ren stuff like that. What's going on? Bob, how you doing? Fido Trader. Crypto Hoarder, what up, man? Kev, you're saying I do not get that crab on any feed, only bats. If you're not getting a certain pattern, please make sure you're looking at the same market, same time frame, and then of course check your settings, folks. We're talking about the TradingView platform. Just right click, or no, go here. Click on your indicator settings, and make sure that it's turned on. Okay, and make sure you're showing all of your patterns. Show your ABCD. See, I'm not even showing the ABCD. And maybe you're not seeing labels. Like I'm not showing my leg labels because it just puts too much on, but I'll hit that and then you'll see other illustrations. Ziggy, what's up? Ziggy's asking what about the Nasdaq? What about that crab pattern? It was so close. We're going to get into that in a moment. Ziggy, actually, that's a great segue. Look, and Q, we'll go to that. That's where I'll start with the indices. But yeah, really within 50 points, right? 50 points of the crab. We'll start there. Yeah, and what do we do in these situations? That's not easy. I had to learn that. That's something I had to learn through experience. I'm going to talk about that in a second. One or two more. Chamber 8. Scott, can you tell us about your most legendary trade? Okay. All right, I'll take a minute on that. Well, there's Doge from a year ago. There's Bitcoin from before that. SHIB. Some of the cryptos this past year were, and even in the last fall, were pretty crazy. I will say one trade that I was involved with that was during the financial crisis, which was when all the banks were going, just a lot of them were going to almost zero. And I was trading stocks. I was a registered investment advisor at the time, and I saw that Bank United, which is a Florida-based bank, was huge. And a lot of those banks were only getting beaten up because of the likes of Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers that went bankrupt. So everyone was dumping them, and they became pennies on the share, pennies a share. Where they were $10, $20 stocks, they were trading 15 cents. And that one was where it was, I had a whole bunch of stuff at 20 cents. So I bought a large position in that one and rode that pretty quickly. That was like a very big kind of penny stock play. I don't recommend penny stocks, but that was the time because a lot of the major stocks became penny stocks. Maybe that's the larger thought, is that some of the long-term opportunities that I have seen come through my hands, and I mean through in and then right out, surprising. Sirius Satellite Radio is one that I think about, where I was buying that hundreds of thousands of shares at 2, 3, 5 cents, 7 cents, sold it at 25 cents, 30 cents, and then it goes to $6. What do? I mean, it just plays. And it was a crazy environment back then. But there's one. I mean, Sirius Satellite Radio, where they could have become much more, or even some of the option plays. Now I'm throwing you a half a dozen. There's Sirius Satellite Radio, right at the low. The all-time low was, I think it was a cent or 3 cents. 5 cents. I know that traded lower than 5 cents. Maybe there was some kind of split. But these scenarios come, folks. We just saw it in the COVID crash, and maybe that's a better, more general takeaway of major opportunities that I've encountered. A lot of it is timing, a lot of it is patience, and a lot of it is understanding where you are in the harmonic pattern framework. And so I dial it back to things like even a year or a year and a half ago of things like Marathon Oil, where down at $3, $4. We talked about there's some levels here, that hop at 346 on the monthly, and there's quite a number of these that have done major patterns. Here's one that we're currently looking at, which is this PLG, Platinum Group Metals. Very speculative, but some of your bigger opportunities come from here. And maybe that's the way to be thinking about it. I think stocks have proven themselves throughout history to get way oversold and way overbought. They can stay way overbought a lot longer they do. They can stay oversold for a long time and not do anything, but these skewed opportunities happen. Let's look at Nasdaq. Let's get into some of these other ones. I appreciate it, though. Those are good comments. Those are good also observations of what to be looking for. So again, been a lot of things that I've missed, folks. And, again, throughout my career, I don't think about what I missed. I'm very happy with progress from where I started, and to be able to have enjoyed it the way that I've done it, where I've been fortunate, and I've also done the work to be able to enjoy it. And again, it's a lot of work. I don't think people realize how much work it requires, because it is more of a 7-day-a-week commitment, or at least 6.5, which you might not have at a regular job. And if you have a regular job and trying to do markets on the side, more power to you, because everyone needs to know you need to have investment skills. You have to have lifelong investment skills, or you are going to struggle. And I think everyone is, if you're not figuring that out intuitively, eventually it comes around and hits you in the face, because you're looking for other means to grow your capital. Definitely want to be aware of that. So take your time. There's never a rush. There's plenty of time, always plenty of opportunities. Let's get into the markets. Let's talk about this massive crab pattern for the Nasdaq and look at a couple of specific examples. I have been saying that the 12,884 level has been the target. Until we get there, let's just sit tight. Well, here's what happened. We went to 12,940 right there on the low. I think that was the Sunday night. 12,942.50 exact low. Did we miss it? Would be an obvious question, and I would still say no. Again, we've had a number of hard bounces off of this level. Here is, again, go back to the crab pattern. This is the zone, the larger zone, and this is why we look at the zone. This is why conceptually patterns should be assessed from their behavior inside the zone, not just a singular point. I want a terminal bar always to define the completion of the pattern, but the price action as it goes in will tell you a great deal of what to expect once it does complete. This one is stabilizing in this general 13,396 to 12,884 level, and we had that issue about 2 weeks ago of came very close but did not hit it at 13,000. Now that was within, a fraction, tenth of a percent. What do we do here? Well, if we don't continue, let's just spend 2-3 days and we do a pop and we roll down. We do a pop and we roll down. One more? Why not? How many bars? Well, at least 3 to 5 on every kind of intermediate correction. This one's probably 9. That one is 6, 7. We're bar 4 in this correction. Just an easy way to be looking at these trending corrective moves. I call them reciprocal ABCDs in certain examples, 5-0 patterns, where you have the clear top or clear inflection point, so you get your first move down, and then whatever the first corrective wave is in that trend is about the maximum approximate structural range you should be looking for. Pop up, roll down. Pop up, roll down. It's a kind of an estimate, but we see that, and so let's do it on the next one. So we pop up, and each thrust, basically about 1,100 points. We're almost there. And then, all right, come back down. Come back down, then hit the 1618. So this is still all in play. We're not there yet. And the other, just thought, what we always want to see is some kind of W formation if it's bullish. Give me some kind of W down here. Give me a, I'll show it on the TradingView platform because they've got the tool. No, here's total crypto market cap. Perfect. Show me from a larger perspective this W structural formation. You make the low, you form some kind of intermediate B point, come down, hold the low, and then you break out and go. Where this B point is the harmonic breakout level. And really, until you do that, you're still by definition in a consolidation phase. And total crypto market cap has to get above 2.1 trillion to really flex its muscle for something larger. Couple more. So get back to, actually, really quick, get back to this Nasdaq chart. The final piece is tell me what's going on down here on the daily. We do have a completed RSI BAM. I always say when that green line stops, look to the right. What do we have to the right of that green line? That would be the trigger, the price level to focus on. And again, you're looking to the right in this regard where, yeah, you have a clear pattern down there. Are we going to break out? This is again where amplified RSI, not if it breaks above the 50 and can continue, that's where you get acceleration. If you can't break out and you roll back over, well, you're back in consolidation zone. Which is why today, tomorrow, really important, and then just do a 1 bar. Each prior low needs to hold. So if you roll back down and let's take out yesterday's low under 13,400, you're back down in that downtrend. So I'm still, I think you're a couple days away, and we need to see some kind of even W formation on the bottom that, you need something like that. You still don't have it from an individual bar perspective. S&P 500 is much the same way, and I think it is critical to understand how important this pattern is of the shark. It is a type 2, and we do have, Look, I have a bullish RSI BAM. The green line stops right there. That was back in February. And this is the larger zone we need to get out of. Today, trying to break out, you need to close above 43.65. We would look for this to be a type 2 as well. And that's up at 40. I mean, it's pretty high, up at 47.40. But again, that's by definition. We had the type 1 up to target 1. Come back down, retest. This is where, okay, a type 2 is taking longer. But is this finally going to break above the 50 line? There's your first test, but that was complex. Comes back down for the retest. That's where your RSI BAM completes. But look, the first time it came off of that low, it hits the 50 and it rolled over. So essentially, you know in those first few bars, you can't get above it and you roll back down. Full retest. Retest to that PRZ. Now let's give it another shot. Well, keep an eye. You have to continue higher. You would have to close above 45.10. You need a few closes. This one you do have. Take a look. Yesterday triggered the breakout, 3-bar breakout. There it is on the daily. Let me clean this up. Where is it? There it is. So we want to focus on and treat the type 2 that essentially started there as your first attempt. But look, it hit the HSI level, could not continue. A lot of people have asked me, do you automatically get out of a situation like that where there's the attempt, there's the retest from there to there? What I always say is just bump up your stops to a 1-bar stop loss. So if you're up here, you triggered, you're not following through, and you're starting to roll down. Well, if you take out that low or that low, that's your stop, and you're out. Look for the retest. This gave you a retest, but you have to clear. I'll give you the two levels. 44.20 is the big one. And today, I mean, if you don't close above 43.70, this will roll back over. That's why it's imperative to be watching how this thing closes this week, and then we'll get into next week, see how that goes. But really quick, here are the diamonds. And diamonds on a 4-hour, I know we're down here at a crab pattern. Type 2 crab pattern. So for the industrials, it relates to essentially your target 2 is 35,500. Look, beautiful type 1 reaction. But again, notice how you don't get through target 2. And you come back for the full retest, almost perfect hop. I mean, really nice. But full retest, okay. Back down to the zone. And this is another type 2 taking time, but that's construction. That's the definition of a reversal construction. Especially with the throwdown return move. I mean, perfect return. You hit your 1618 off the crab. Immediate reaction. And then ride the trend line. You can't get through target 2. You move stops up, and even if you didn't move the stop up, you know by 3-4 bars later down here, you have to be out because we anticipate that retest down here. Now, okay. This could be a B point. This is important to be looking for today's close is can we get above 342, 343, close there, and then go back to target 2 to then give you some kind of, you go back to back. You get it. Look what I'm drawing out here, W formation, where you target that move back up to in the BAM breakout to target 2. That would be a nice end of the quarter run. I think that's possible. We could still be in a larger downtrend and have that happen, but at least for now, today, you have some of the first signs. I want to see Bitcoin do this. Let's jump over to gold and wrap up with crude oil. Let me see. How's everybody doing? Volume's okay out there? Because this is an important chart. Gold, folks. 4-hour chart on gold. After the massive, look at the weekly rejection, type 1 rejection, and this is definition of return. This is incredible dynamics here. 1618 at 2068 was the number with the all-time 886 where pause. Okay, I'm fine with that. It was more than a pause. I mean, it was just a nasty reaction. Here's the all-time. This is all-time. So that's the all-time 886 off basically a 3-year consolidation zone. Deep crab got rejected. But what I said last session was look for this to only be a reaction, and we will start to assess possibilities for type 2 return back to retest that zone. And a lot of it had to do with this. Look, this 4-hour bat pattern, it's holding basically 1900. There are some numbers, longer term numbers around 1946. I mentioned this before. Essentially 46 to 65 is this first target for this bump. I'm looking for it like this. I think we'll have to stair step. We'll have to do some more work. But gold will work its way higher. Maybe we come like that, then we do the retest, and then we go. Like a simple 1-2. So be aware of that. This is a great first reaction off the larger zone. We have to continue. You really need to see this gold do things. And yeah, we do have, again, this has got reaction written all over it. Look, complex structure on that last oversold test. Your green line went on because we're now at the 50 level. Great. What I want to see, this get overbought, go to the upside, go up another 30 bucks, 20, go up another $22, $3, and then come back down to complete this RSI BAM like that. Maybe puts us somewhere, yeah, towards the end of the month, and then get that larger move. Where you're still in consolidation here after the pause, but it's reacting. And the severity of that reversal tells me that was a temporary move. The retest has to go down. Crude oil, really similar on the daily time frame. We hit, it had a couple things up here. Crude oil was really about the all-time 886 getting smacked. And that's okay. There you go. All-time chart. Remarkable. There's the 886, was at 125 and rejected right off of there. But we're still, notice, amplified on the monthly until we get out of the month. Check it out on the weekly as well. We do have this fairly nasty inflection point, but I would still say that's a temporary move. On your weekly chart, maybe it comes down to, come back down to all the way to oversold, where we've seen this a few times. The difference with this last move is that you took out the prior readings. So if this was a major downtrend or threatening to be some kind of major resistance of RSI, no, you're just showing you that last thrust was pretty strong. It cracked a lot of action, and we're going to get another retracement. Again, just look at the minimum structural moves on each one of these. I could go back to the zone. Yeah, here. This is really the first move of the uptrend, and it's been shallow. Every correction has been quite shallow since the low. There, and all of them have been not more than like $8, $10 max. You guys get the idea here. Even as severe as this last correction was, we're still in the constraint of a normal pullback within this uptrend. Nothing's changed. I just think it's with the 886 rejection. All right, maybe we get some kind of B point here, and then longer term basis after we spend, I don't know, 3, 5, 8 weeks. Let's see what we do up here, but I think it's a pause. That's it. Maybe even just a mini pause, and certainly a break above the 130 level does satisfy the breakout, the all-time breakout, which is more of what I'm looking for now. I mean, I'm okay with pullback, come back down into this level. You're already as low as almost $90. It's not going to really show it on the chart, but I just want to see how we finish the month. And again, a bullish weekly close, monthly close is going to be super strong. Here is probably the best one to look at, Chevron. Okay, tell me what that's doing on the weekly chart. We've failed that Gartley pattern aggressively, and a lot of times those go into 1618 levels. We know there's a lot of things here. I wanted to show the Gartley for some reference of what's happened in the past. We know that shark pattern down around $70 was huge, and again taking longer to develop. Now this Gartley that failed is a lot like what we saw back here around 2009, 2010. And again, good to get some perspective of how to treat these patterns when they do fail. Take a look at the Gartley. You had a brief reaction, type 1, come back down. Perfect to the hop, type 2. Now this is one that only went to target 1 and then just rockets 2010. And this is after financial crisis. Now check it out. This is the kind of scenario where once you get above the hop level, and especially when you've got a couple of HSI signals and they're complete duds, which this is, Chevron up here had a secondary HSI signal, but remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. 7 weeks before the larger breakout. Made a big rush up, paused, and then continued. Even at something like a year later, because these were major breakout moves, and this was 10, 12 years ago. Even with something, and I think maybe Chevron might be trying to do something more like this. Big move, digest it, and then go higher. With those kind of bearish pattern breakouts, until something larger develops, you go with it. Take a look at where we are relative to now with the breakout of that Gartley. Again, massive violation well above the hop. All right, let's let this go sideways. Maybe we come down a little bit more. You trade 160. Last week, what was it? 175 was the high. Again, no situation. More about time than price. But I want to have my eye on it because I think any kind of pullback here after 6 or 8 weeks, and then here's the long-term uptrend. And we've been acceleration mode since. I'm not thinking that there's going to be anything more than just a pause on all of this crude oil stuff. XLE, much the same way. We're above all those hop levels, but relative to longer term targets, again, showing breakout, trying to go back and I think they all have to go back and retest all-time highs. Cyclically, they're there. Cyclically, the breakout that you see here, even on gold, despite these crazy reactions, still isn't, they're not correlated. A lot of the stocks aren't doing nearly what the futures price is doing. And again, futures price hasn't backed off much relative to what it's done in the past 6-9 months. Big stuff here, folks. Again, let's finish up. Let's take a quick peek at where Nasdaq is for today. I think you got to just be aware that a lot of positioning into the end of the month. I don't want to, as far as crypto goes, or even the whole market goes, I don't want to be dismissive of potential opportunities. Just because I'm not too pleased with the way things are going, or maybe it's a little more difficult, complicated, irritating environment. I still want to stick to the patterns. I think plenty of time. Look at this 5-minute chart. This is nuts. So for today, look at this beautiful back-to-back stuff. There's this morning shark pattern. And looks like we're about to retest. I would look at that right at 14,000. We're 20 points away from a major retest for today. And that could give you a nice futures opportunity. Where's the futures? What are we? Okay, we're rallying back. We're only down 25. We've been all over the place. But I think that's, this is the play. Look at all these back-to-back and look at how much, the other consideration, look at how many bearish patterns actually are affecting after a huge move. Yesterday's bearish bat at the hop at 14,000 set off that big correction. And we're back-to-back patterns. When you see that on a 5-minute or 30-minute or 60-minute within the larger trend, you got to respect it. I mean, we are still in a downtrend. And remember, if we're going to look at 12,884, 12,884 on, let's just highlight it. It's an unresolved 1618 extension that really has a lot of implication for the whole market. Had we hit that 12,884 on Sunday, I would have said, okay, we get a nice little quarter end rally. But on the 60-minute chart, folks, we do have some patterns. They're all around 13,000. We do have this one hop level at 12,833. So be aware of where we are relative to this, the long term, the daily, even the 5-minute stuff. I mean, I think this 14,000 right here, right now, look for that today. All right, if we're going to go back and retest that 12.8, yeah, I don't think we go above these highs. This is pretty prime situation here. If we're going to go a little bit more, okay, break out. And then close above 14,000 today. Well, much like crypto and a lot of these other markets, just wait and see. Let's give it a little bit more time because it's going to run however we resolve ourselves on the say weekly time frames and the monthly closes. you're going to start to see that movement Monday. We got a holiday weekend. No holiday weekend. No holiday weekend yet. But full 2 weeks into the end of the month. So 2 weeks from today is the last day of the month. That's going to be critical. We're going to see it in the next 3 days. At least you're holding. So appreciate it. Well, folks, been a great one. Again, thanks for the time. We're going to be back here on Monday, and I'm going to do. I'll save it for Monday. Come on back Monday. Hit me up over at Harmonic Trader. Again, folks, get with the software. Become a basic member. If you have questions, reach out to me. But please get with all of the trials first, and all of the information and videos are there. If you have questions, go to the Discord. Send me direct notes on Discord. By far, if you want to get in touch with me immediately, that's the best place to do it. Otherwise, send me an email. Give me 24 hours. I'll get back to you. All right? Oh, Claire. Okay, Claire, you got me. You want to look at UEC. That's uranium. All right, I know. I saw you put it in like 4 times. All right, UEC. Like all of those, UEC, look at this, up 14%. Wasn't this a bat pattern down here on the daily? Yeah. All right, here's UEC. There's a few things. Weren't we looking at this way back at that Gartley? I think so. I know we talked about this as kind of a position play, a spec play. I still think that. I think this one, here you have a bat pattern, bearish back currently, that is flashing a bullish HSI. So that could still run higher. Of course, you're up 14% today. I wouldn't be chasing it, but get it on your radar. Get it on the radar. Here's the other one, and I'll leave you folks with this, but it does come to mind. It's the Lithium Americas. I know we've had some great patterns in this one. The UEC reminds me of this, and I would be looking at this. LAC had a number of real nice structures. This daily type 1 ABCD on LAC, great, in a great position. All right, to start looking for the possibility of the return. So we're down here at 27. Target one is basically 26.94, 26.64. I would be targeting a retest of the ABCD at 37. Not to mention, check out the weekly, the 4 hour has a bat pattern. Ugly, but this works. Under 26, folks, is probably the level to try to see if this can hold stops under 23. We'll get into more of those on Monday. I think there's a lot of these type of speculative plays that got their, socks knocked off in that correction. But it's not over. That's just wave 1. In my opinion, crude oil, gold, that's your first wave. It's the next wave that's going to have fireworks. We'll get into it Monday. As always, folks, thanks again. Appreciate everybody in the chat, contributions, all of that. We will come on back Monday, 11:30. Become a basic member and reach out to me at harmonictrader@gmail.com. So, as always, go get them. Have a great weekend. We'll catch you on Monday. Take care.